Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel on this fine Friday evening. It is currently freezing right now and I don't normally get very cold. Like, I run really hot all the time, but it has been absolutely freezing. Like, it was 5 degrees this morning and I was like, holy fuck, it is cold. So what have I been doing today? I have watched a lot of TV and I've done some reading, and I thought I would do a little reading vlog. So there's a bunch of books that I am wanting to read and that are more specific to videos, but then there's just a few books that I'm then like don't really fit into video ideas either, that I'm still wanting to read. I last finished Oleander, and then since I've kind of just been in between some books because nothing's really gripped me. I haven't known what I've wanted to read, but I've decided on a book to continue reading that's kind of gripped me so far, and that I've started, and it's a fantasy based book, and I think that's the mood I'm in. I find I'm a real mood reader. I can't really just set like you need to read these books, because if not, I'm not feeling it. So I've been trying to see what the mood is, if I want a romance, if I want fantasy, but I am wanting fantasy. So that's what I've decided on. And I thought I would just do a little reading vlog, read this book. Who knows what else we'll read. I think I want to film the like mid-year freak out, or I probably won't call it a freak out tag, but mid-year book tag. I just watched Carrie's video on it and I really loved watching it. Granted, I've not read nearly as many books as people who do this tag probably have, so I don't know if I'll be able to answer like some of the questions, but then some of them I will. Hello, everyone in my neighborhood has just like come home and it's just making a lot of noise at the moment, so if you do hear it in the background, I do apologize. I've also put my overhead lighting on for you guys, which these lights, they never see the day at all. They don't see their time. I've turned them on maybe like once or twice. I never use them. However, my pink lighting was just a bit too intense and it needed a little bit more lighting going on, so you're welcome. You can actually see me. However, if you do then just see the pink lighting, I get really overstimulated by overhead lighting specifically. So yeah, it's on for now, but it may not stay on. And I thought I would talk a little bit about the book that I'm currently reading before I go to the movies. There's so many movies that have come out and are coming out in like next coming weeks that I am so excited to watch and that I've been wanting to watch for ages. So tonight's movie I'm going to watch is The Materialist. It's got Pedro Pascal in it. You don't need to say more, I'll be there. And then I want to watch How to Train Your Dragon. I'm going to watch that next week. And then there's a couple of like horror movies that are coming out that I'm really wanting to watch. And then the Formula 1 movie comes out, and then Jurassic World comes out, and it's a great time in television and movies in general. So many good shows have also released that I've watched, which I would highly recommend watching Adults on Disney+. Possibly one of my new favourite shows ever. I'm obsessed with that show. I'm going to rewatch it soon. Overcompensating on Amazon Prime. Phenomenal. It's so funny and it's so good. It's the same with Adults. Like, there's similar vibes and I could not recommend either one more. Like, they're just such good times and what I've really been missing in TV. And then the new season of Ginny and Georgia, which was surprisingly heartbreaking and really sad and really dealt with a lot of mental health, different, I guess, difficulties that people have. And I thought that was really cool because it took a show that in, you know, the first season was quite, like, it was cute and there definitely was still a bit of depth there, like more than I thought when I went to like watch the show, but it was a bit cringy. And same with the second season, it was good but still like a bit cringy, but you could tell it was getting into a bit more, I guess, seriousness. And then this third season, tear central. Like, I was sobbing at multiple points in this season and it was really good. I think they did a fantastic job at representing different mental illnesses and what they actually look like rather than just what it stereotypically kind of looks like in media. And they did a really good job with that and with sensitive topics, and I really appreciated that. So I finished watching that as well, and I'm now watching Nine Perfect Strangers on Amazon. Well, I've got it, and Motorhead's on Amazon as well. So yeah, there's just been a lot of like media releasing. That's been such a good time, but I have been watching a lot more TV just because there's so many things out that I'm wanting to watch. And same with the movies. I've not started going yet, but I will be going to the movies like once a week until like July because there's so many good things coming out. But in terms of books, I wanted to discuss the book that I'm currently reading. So this is Hunted by Misu Loy. I've not read any of her work before. Sorry, I'm not sure what their gender is, but I've not read any of the work before. And this just came up in like what we would recommend like on Kindle, and it's like recommended reads based off previous reads. And then I read like the synopsis of it sounded really cool, but then when I was looking at the reviews, one of the reviews was like the slow burn was at snail's pace, and I was sold. I was like, I love a slow romance that's set around a fantasy world but has a good plot to it. Like, it's not just the romance, because as much as I do want romance in every book I read, I don't always want it to be the main focus. Like, I love a solid plot and actual story that develops with a side of a real intense like a build up. And this is going to be enemies to lovers too, so again, say less, I will be there. The cover for this is also gorgeous, which you can't really see on a Kindle because it doesn't show color, but I'll pop it on screen. And this book, so far I'm 20% of the way through. We're following our main character Rain, and one of the main kind of drawing points I had to this book was that it was based on dragons, which I will eat anything with dragons up. I love dragons. They're just my favorite and mythical, even though I don't really think that mythical in the past, but they're my favorite like mythical creature. Like, I fucking love dragons. Anything in like Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, any show, How to Train Your Dragon that has dragons in it, I love and I'm obsessed with. I just think they're the like sweetest, cutest things ever. Even the ones that maybe look a bit scarier, I don't know, I just think they're so magical and cool. And yeah, to me, they're just like the best things ever. And so if they're in a book especially, I will love it. I've not really read many queer books with dragons in it though. A lot of like more like Fourth Wing, those kind of books have dragons in it. So when I saw this book has dragons, enemies to lovers, slow burn, and a good plot, again, I was there and I have been reading it since. So like I said, we're following Rain, who is someone who's always known he's different. I guess the main kind of traits of the people in his like continent or kingdom is that they have darker features, so like dark hair, dark eyes, and Rain is the opposite. He has like long blonde, like silver blonde hair, really light eyes, and he's always had this kind of ability to withstand heat, so he can be in like boiling hot water, and obviously that's not necessarily a normal thing. And his dad is the captain, so he's kind of risen up through their ranks in what they called like the guild, and he was a captain in the guild, which is like, again, like the army kind of thing for their country. But he now is the main person who like oversees the military dragons, and this is where Rain has lived his whole life, and his dad has very much protected him, even though Rain's kind of one goal in life is to join the guild, and that's the thing he's wanted to do for so long, and doesn't understand why his dad won't let him and thinks he's just being a dick. But obviously as things progress, that's not necessarily the case. And where I'm at now, Rain has gone to the guild and done like the exams that you have to do. They've seen some of the differences in him, and they tried to off him, and he's now come home back to dad's, and he's now having to go on the run. So that's where we're at so far. We've not met the main love interest yet, but I believe he's going to be one of the captains of the guild, and so that's where the enemies come into play. I'm not quite sure how our other main character comes into it yet, but I'll let you know as I read further on. But yeah, I'm 20% of the way through and I'm really enjoying it. The writing is really beautiful. I really like Rain as a character. I think he's quite funny. And again, I love the setting. I love that you're getting like details to it and it's not rushed in the beginning either, and you're getting a idea of what this world looks like, what the guild looks like, the dragons, and also how they breed the dragons as well, which is quite sad, but is an interesting kind of point to make around having to have the dragon eggs there and then be removed from the mother dragons, and then the humans having to raise them so that they don't then attack humans, because they could sense that animosity from the parents towards humans. So I think it's a really cool concept too. And Rain obviously is not just kind of a normal person in this world, which I don't really like the term like a normal person, but he is different, and that comes to him being a dragon, which where he's just kind of found this out and he's like, what the hell, no, I'm not this big scaly creature. But I imagine we will soon learn kind of how that comes to be, and his role, and why the guild wants him dead, and who his potential love interest will be. All these things will happen. But yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it. Again, it's just seeming like a good fantasy book so far, which is what I'm in the mood for. And then there's just so many books that I'm wanting to read. Again, there are some that I'm specifically wanting to read for in like videos, which I'm really wanting to do like queer horror book video, but I don't know whether I should wait until it's closer to October when it's more like spooky season, or would you guys want to see that now? Because there are some books on my list that I'm really wanting to read, and some of my most anticipated books are coming out in October time as well. So I don't want to overwhelm myself with the amount of books I'm wanting to read. So maybe I'll make like a video now with a couple and then a video at that time as well. But it's just been a few books that I'm like, oh, I'm really wanting to read those. And they all are queer horror books, which is fantastic because that's the genre I'm seeming to get into at the moment, which makes sense. I really enjoy horror generally, and I don't know why it never used to like cross my mind that I could also read like horror books, but I can. And the book that really got me into it, like I said in my previous video, was like Summer Suns, and then Don't Let the Forest In. The book's on the agenda currently, and I will update you guys as I get further along in Hunted. There is a second book to Hunted as well, so I'm pretty sure it's out. I can watch that. I can read that as well. But yeah, those are the updates for you. Lots of good media coming out. If you've watched any of the shows that I've spoken about above, please let me know. If you've got any books that you recommend I check out, please let me know. And if you're also freezing because you live in Queensland in Australia and are not used to 5-degree temperatures, also let me know. But that's the update for now, and I will talk to you guys at a bit of a later date. I'm gonna go get some food, see my friend, watch a movie, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Hello everybody, welcome back to a little update for you. I just wanted to quickly talk to you about the book because I am now 45% of the way through. Please excuse my appearance. I'm about to go to bed, so I don't look my best. My hair looks a bit insane and I have stuff on my face, but anyway, this is what I look like before I go to bed. You're welcome. I wanted to update you. So like I said, I'm 45% of the way through, and we've just hit a bit of a main point. So we saw Rain leave his dad's and make his way to the place that his dad said to go. He's gone there. It's been a bit of a found family around the dragons and finding kind of his place in the dragons, learning about them a little bit before shit hits the fan. They then have to go on the run, And then him and one of the other dragons who's quite young decide to go to like this clubbing district, which if you live in Australia, like in Brisbane area, there's the valley, and that's like all that I was thinking of. And I was like, oh my god, this is a wild time. But they decide to make the most of it when they're on their way to the safe house and go clubbing, as you know, young people do. And here we see Rain on like when they're going back to the inn, run into a captain of the Guardian of the Veil, and this person is his mate. So in this series they are mates, the dragons are mates, which I don't normally love like fated mates, or I do, but only if it's done a particular way. And so it's too early to tell if I'm going to like this or not, but he's just ran into him, which is not good news because he's trying to kill Rain currently. And this is where the enemies to lovers of this book comes in, as Rain has obviously been criminalized by the Guardians of the Veil and by the kind of high people in that. I forget what they're called, but they've put posters everywhere wanting him for all these things that he hasn't actually done, just so that they can kill him because they know he's a dragon. And his mate happens to be one of the captains of the Guardians of the Veil. They meet for the first time, and it was explained a little bit before this that dragons don't feel any kind of sexual chemistry or just sexual desire at all unless they find their mate. So towards just other people, they won't have it unless it's their mate. And he is having this realization, one, while he's like absolutely shit-faced, and then two, while they're in a fight and he's trying to kill him, but he's like, oh my god, this is the most beautiful man I've ever seen in my life. Such a shame I'm gonna have to go on the run. So I don't know how it's kind of going to play out from here. Rain and Ali are now obviously bolting out of there to get to the safe house. And so far I'm really enjoying it, but it just made me giggle because again, I'm 45% of the way through, and someone's comment about this book was that it moved at like snail pace in terms of the romance, and I 100% see that because again, 45% of the way we're just meeting like the main love interest, and for me, my god, I cannot speak apparently before bed. For me, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm really loving kind of seeing the world building, the plot, the overall setup before any kind of romance. But I can understand if you like to meet the other main character, you know, 20% of the way through, this probably isn't for you, but I'm really enjoying it. So that's the update. Rain has met his mate. He's trying to kill him. It's not going well for them. I will update you guys when I read a bit more. But yes, I just wanted to let you know I'm really enjoying it so far. We've got some action. We've met our mate. That person's comment about snail pace is 100% correct. And I'm so here for it. So I'll talk to you at a later date. I'm going to read a little bit and go to bed. My arm is aching, so I'm going to go. Bye. Hello everybody, I'm coming at you with, why did I say that? I'm here to give you an update on Hunted / also the second book. I finished Hunted the other night and I loved it. It ended on a little bit of a cliffhanger, like not really. This is gonna drive me crazy when editing. I'm using my phone once again just because I saw myself in my camera the other day and it sent me to a bit of a crisis. Just due to how close it was, whereas my phone is like 0.5 if I do it this way. And that just feels a little bit nicer to myself. So I'm going to do 0.5. But with that and the flashlight on at nighttime, you can see any specks of dust and it really irritates me. But anyway, besides the point, I finished Hunted. I really enjoyed it. It ended on a bit of a sad note, but also a really good note for the setup for the next book. It's a duology. I don't think it's going to be a trilogy, but so far I really love the characters. So we have our main character Rain, and we also have our main character Sedan, which is how I'm pronouncing it. I could absolutely be butchering it. And like I've said a bit earlier, this is like a dragon based book. It's featuring fated mates, and Rain and Sedan are fated mates, but I really like the way they've done this, the author's done this anyway, in that it's not like insta-lovey fated mates. I don't really like when fated mates is like that and it's super insta-lovey and then that's kind of it done. I like when there's a build-up and that Sedan is a human, so he doesn't have that same kind of, I guess, instant, not connection, but instant like knowing that this is his mate the same way that Rain does. And so the first book actually ends with like there's like a tiny little bit of like something between them that you can tell is coming. But I really enjoyed the fact that we saw them go from enemies to then respected kind of friends, and now they are a bit more than that, but still not quite at the lover's point. And I'm on the second book, which is called, called Snared, and we're following the plot of the dragons and what's happening with the like guardians of the veil, the guild, the people in the high places that have very much put out the propaganda that is anti-dragons and why they're these like awful like beasts, and that people don't actually know dragons have two forms of being dragon or human. And so Sedan and Rain have gone and found some more dragons, and now they're on a mission to go back to the other dragons. And I'm really excited to see where it goes and I guess how it ends as well. I imagine there might be some form of like overthrowing maybe the government, or at least getting out the knowledge of dragons on Rain's end, because he is this quite like special breed of dragons, and they've kind of mentioned, I guess, dragon-based tales of that creating something new. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I gave the first book 4 stars. I loved it. I was constantly wanting to read it, read it quite quickly, enjoyed the characters. Rain is so funny. I love him. And him and Sedan's chemistry is really good. Again, I really liked seeing the development of their relationship. For a fated mate story especially, but in general, that it is really slow burn. Tick, love that. And that there is chemistry there and that it's building and you can tell there's a real connection that is going to be really beautiful, and already is, and is starting to be really beautiful. My arm is literally dying, so I'm just going to hold you up here to finish this. But yeah, I've started the second book last night and I'm like maybe 10% of the way through it, and again, we're getting closer to them being something, because up until this point Sedan was not aware that Rain was his mate, and he's just found out, and it's really cute and I really love it. So that's where I'm at in terms of the books. And again, I believe there's only going to be 2 books, it's not more than that, which I think is good. I really like that the tension and the build up and the plot and everything has been over 2 books and hasn't been rushed at all, which some may say it's too slow for them, but for me it's perfect. So that's the reading update. I'm gonna go shower and then continue reading, and I'll touch base with you the further along I get in this book and when my arm is not killing me to hold my phone. Hello everybody, update for you for 2 things. First of all, I watched the new How to Train Your Dragons movie and it was, oh my god, it was phenomenal. I loved it. I really like the original movies, but I hadn't watched them in a while. But I was really excited for the live kind of animation, I guess it's not animation, live remake of it, because I do really enjoy kids films in that aspect and how like light and like just generally happy they are. But I do prefer people, and I love when they've done like these live kind of remakes of them with like Lilo and Stitch and now How to Train Your Dragon. And it was just so good. It was so good. Had me laughing. I absolutely loved it. I think it's gone to like one of my favorite movies ever. I'd happily watch it in cinema again, like no issue. So yeah, I watched that and it was amazing, and I loved getting to watch it and then come back and read my book, which was just around more dragons. So it was really just like Dragon Central. I should have really just watched like House of the Dragon, and then it was just dragons everywhere. But yeah, I love that movie, and so far on this book I'm at 63%, so some shit has just gone down in terms of the dragons, and I guess just their want for revenge after so long of being held captive and their children being taken from them, and just a lot of things kind of going on, and that kind of having to have this realization that he doesn't agree with everything the dragons do, and having to kind of see both those perspectives of why they're doing these things while also not agreeing with it, and then hating the feeling that this is just then reiterating to people why dragons are bad, even though obviously they're not, but they're really hurt and they've been abused for so long that they're going to fight back, and just being in that position is really hard for him. But I'm loving where we're at. It is definitely about to turn into a shit show. I don't know when exactly, but in the next, I guess, 40% of the book is going to be a big mission of taking down the guild and the people who oppress the dragons, because otherwise they can't really live their life free. Like, even if they get their kids back, they're going to be constantly on the run from the guild. So it's about trying to get rid of them. And Sedan and Rain are just so freaking cute, like genuinely so cute. There's not been one bit of smut in these two books, but the tension between them and just the genuine kind of care and build up of their relationship has been so beautiful, and I'm loving it. And this is a mates book that I can get around, a mates series that I can get around. Like I said, sometimes when it's really rushed and it's like that insta lovey kind of mate bond, it's a bit much, and I don't necessarily love it because I'm like, okay, well, I'm bored, give me something else. But this I really enjoy because it's been really a long waiting with the build up, and it has been watching them go from enemies, and then Sedan really having a mind shift around dragons and what he's learned and what he knew, and then becoming Rain's like biggest defender and biggest supporter ever, and it's just so cute. So yeah, I'm 63% of the way through. I'm gonna go to bed now, and I'll continue reading tomorrow, and hopefully I'll finish it then. But so far it's been a really good series. It's just a good dragon fantasy slow burn series that's been funny, that's been really cute, it's been well paced. I feel like there's good depth, there's good world building. So yeah, I'd recommend it on 2 more slow burn kind of books that have more of a world building element to them rather than just the romance. But yeah, I'm gonna go to bed and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye. Hello everybody, welcome back. You are really on a balance on my pillow between my Kindle. Yeah, so if you fall, apologies, but I wanted to give you a little update on how the second book in the series went, which I'm now forgetting the title. I'll put up here because my Kindle is currently holding you up. And I finished the second book last night and just wanted to give you a bit of an update on my thoughts on the series, if I'd recommend it, all those kind of good things. Just eaten. I think I'm like out of breath from eating and then coming and sitting down, but I wanted to catch up just around the second book, the series as a whole, and I really enjoyed it. It was just a really good fantasy series. I don't know if it's technically a series, I guess it's a duology because there's only 2 books in the series and that's all that there will be, but I really loved our characters. We had Rain, Sedan, they were 2 of our main characters and kind of our 2 main love interests, and it was so cute, and I just loved that their story was a build up over the 2 books and it didn't have to be done by the first book, and that even throughout the second book it was still quite slow in kind of getting there, and I really appreciated that. And I really loved them as characters. I liked the other kind of dragons that we met as characters. I think the world was well developed and the concepts that were kind of there around dragons and their enemies and how dragons came to be. There was nothing I didn't like about the books, to be honest. I had a good time reading them. I read them both quite quickly. They were well-paced books in my opinion, but I could see how if you like your romances to be a bit quicker, it maybe wouldn't be super for you, but I personally loved it. And there were a couple of like smutty scenes towards the end. There was some smut in it, so if that's something in fantasy books you do kind of need, it's in the second book, but it was there. And I just really liked their actual love story and them like being friends and their banter and everything that came with it, and then taking down the 9 and what that looked like, and then some of the little plot twists at the end. They weren't like crazy, but like a couple that I was like, oh, that was really cool, that was kind of the outcome. So yeah, I would give both books 4 stars. I think I actually liked the first book over the second book, which, I mean, I guess that does tend to be the case all the time, but I really loved the first book. I'd probably give that like a 4.5. And the second book I really enjoyed as well. I'd probably give it a 4 stars if I were to rate them. But they were just really cute, good, well-written fantasy books that are queer, that feature a gay main couple, that feature found family and dragons and mates, but not in that real like intense mate way, or that's like love at first sight mate way. I enjoyed the way they did the mates in this book and I could handle it. So yeah, overall just a good series. Duology, I should stop calling it a series, a duology that I would recommend. You think we have the same taste in books and in pacing? I think it's a good duology if you're really into quite a long road to get to the main romance. If you're not, I don't think you would be super into it, but I think the characters were funny. They had me laughing out loud quite a few times. The writing was really good. The world building was strong. Again, there wasn't anything I didn't like about these books, so I would recommend giving them a go, a read, if you're looking for like just a new queer fantasy. And again, it's only 2 books, so it's not that overwhelming. It's not like you're gonna have to wait for another book to come out. You can just read the 2 that are out and be done kind of after that, which is nice. I do like multiple books in a series, but I don't love when we're following the same kind of couple for like 2-3 books is kind of my max. I can't do more than that. I find it's too much of the same couple. I like either a same setting and world and different characters in each book, or at max 2 to 3 books about that character, and it has to be like a long yearning and really, really long time to get to them being together. So that's my preference anyway, but this was really good for me because it's exactly what I enjoy. So yeah, that was Hunted, and I want to say the second one is Snared. So I don't think snared's a word. Snared. It's the second book is something. I'll put it on screen again. I would recommend them. I really enjoyed them. And that's all I have to say about it. I will see you guys next time for my next video. I hope you have a great day, a great night, whenever it is you are watching this. And let me know if you've read these books down below, or if you have any books similar that center around dragons, because I'm obsessed with dragons at the moment. I mean, I'm always obsessed with them, but currently extra obsessed with them. So if you've got any other recommendations you think I would enjoy, please feel free to comment them. Okay, I'll see you next time. And again, hope you have a good day, good night, and I'll see you then. Bye.